That's pretty... You can't really dispute that. Has Toby Fox commented on this? He probably has. Generic Control in the Deck Goes Boo here, back with another game theory video, and today we're doing a video I've heard a lot about, but I'm still very confused as, and it is the SANS secret identity, where I believe the SANS is NESS, which is like an infamous MatPat theory. I'm not sure if it's true or false, as I just finished Undertale for the very first time, never saw gameplay of it or a playthrough or anything of that. I just finished the G run. You want to check out my reaction to me finally completing that, I'll leave it right up there. It's uploaded on my gaming channel, also linked down below in the description. So this is going to be quite the interesting video. Apparently after I beat the G run, then I could start doing reacting to theory videos. I know that there's apparently 13 theory videos, but I'm jumping into this one. It might be a little bit out of order. Let me know if you want to see the other ones. I don't know if this is right or wrong, but I just had to see why he thought SANS is NESS. But shout out to the patrons because they get the videos a day early. 11 of a paywall on the channel, $3 a month get you all my reaction videos a day early. And I should be playing Deltarune or starting Deltarune that's coming up Saturday on Twitch. And if you miss that, it'll be uploaded on Twitch for 2 weeks, and then it should go live on the game channel hopefully the Tuesday after, or next Tuesday. But that's kind of the plan of what I'm doing. This should be quite interesting, but let's go ahead and jump on into it. All right. So I just finished Undertale for the first time. Videos on my gaming channel.
Wonder which one I would.
I should be starting Undertale. No, Deltarune.
No, not in that
Saturday
way. Straight.
on link down below in the description.
To
Bada boom.
Deadpool.
Broadway.
Broadway. Now that's the one. Now that's the one.
People keep talking about, you know, the Has Been Hotel voice actors being Broadway actors, and I couldn't tell you anything about Broadway, you know? I know that apparently Hamilton is a Broadway play that I think turned into a movie, but, like, I couldn't tell you literally anything about Broadway. Nothing.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory, where instead of putting a joke here, I want to ask you a question. If
the
your
music.
personality were
Hopefully this
represented
video
by a
isn't
font,
copyright claim.
What font would you
Or
be?
copyright.
Take a moment and put your font in the
Because I've had a
comments.
bunch of issues
really
with
curious
Undertale
to see what
music.
everyone has to say. Maybe find a couple new cool fonts to use. Getting bored with old Calibri 11. With that out of the way, it's time to talk Undertale.
Yes.
Now, I don't think I've ever gotten this many requests to cover a game. Well, except for FNAF. And I suppose FNAF 2. Oh, and then there was FNAF 3. Wait a minute, should I be worried about something here? Anyway, across the board on YouTube, Reddit, and Twitter, you all have wanted Undertale. And honestly, I'm glad you brought it to my attention. True loyal theorists will know that Earthbound is my favorite game of all time.
Oh yeah, that is true.
A self-aware RPG in a similar style? Oh man, it's like a gift from indie gaming heavens. Undertale is a game where every
Undertale did start from Kickstarter.
Goat mom to grind fodder has a sympathetic design and unique personality, motivations, goals, fears. Whether you're saving or slaughtering them, the game makes you feel
I just finished the G run.
Time you enter an encounter.
I spent 7 hours fighting SANS, and then I played full screen.
Named after the font Comic Sans, hence all
I played full screen and got it like in 5 tries. 3 of them were warm-ups.
I'm sure that was a really weird opening. Anyway, SANS is... well, there's a lot of mystery around this guy. And before we get into it, let me put up a very special spoiler warning. Undertale is a game best experienced blind. So if you
Which is what I did.
Pause the video and come back after you've finished.
Which is why I was told to do this. Is this actually the first Undertale video? I don't know.
For the Adult Swim? Good, because I'm feeling pretty determined to get to the bottom of Sans' mystery. So just to recap for those of you who haven't played the game and ignored the spoiler warning,
you should definitely play the game.
Refresher. Sans is one of the skeletal brothers who appear in the game. His partner is Papyrus, a loud, goofy trap lover also named after a font. But in the world of Undertale, their origins are a big question mark. All that we really know is what's given to us by a shopkeeper in Snowden, who explains that Sans and Papyrus, quote, just showed up one day and asserted themselves. Weird. Right? What's more is that, while Papyrus is just kinda the goofy sidekick, Sans is much more complex. Sure, he likes fart jokes, but he's also incredibly powerful and deadly serious.
Yeah, he is.
Not only is his boss battle the hardest in the game, he's one of the only characters that have knowledge and power over space and time. He
that's one of the first attacks.
Around the world through ridiculous routes, even walking through walls. He also acknowledges that he's only one of infinite versions of himself, making self-aware commentary of the various timelines that
he's aware that he's in a video game.
He can even count the number of times he's killed you.
Well,
he's
up to
like
12.
An arbiter in this world, passing out judgment on the player's actions in the game, even explaining the secrets of EXP
and beautiful days
like
love, this,
or execution
kids like you
points
should.
And levels of violence, just to clarify. In short, he just doesn't quite fit in with the rest of the world of monsters. But then what? Or who is he? Well,
apparently
the idea
he's
that
NESS,
he doesn't belong
because
in
NESS
Underworld
is from...
seems to be correct. The evidence seems to point to the
not
fact
Animal
that
Crossing,
he
what
was,
is it, like
in fact,
Villagers or something?
Is
that a game?
In the true
Villagers
pacifist ending of the game, as the group
did that
looks
one
out
first.
onto the horizon, Papyrus asks Sans about the giant ball in the sky. Sans says, quote,
my front
"We
door
call
just
that
opened."
the sun." This is important because A, the usage of the word we and knowledge of the sun shows that Sans has a kinship or knowledge with other humans, and B, that despite he and Papyrus both being skeletons, are supposedly brothers, and apparently appeared in Underworld at the same time, they clearly...
Are they actually brothers, though?
They have two very different histories. Why would Papyrus not know the name of the sun, but Sans would?
But isn't Sans the older brother?
As to Sans' origin, as we hear him say multiple times that he wants to go home, or go back. He says as much during his dinner date scene at the Manhattan
also when he's
Hotel.
fighting...
He notices that the player must want to go home, and says,
final fight.
quote, "I know the feeling." He then continues, "Maybe sometimes it's better to take what's given to you," as though he ended up in Underworld by accident. And in a genocide run during his boss fight, he says, quote, "Look, I gave up trying to go back a long time ago." End quote. And before you say he means going back to the surface world, that's clearly not the full story.
Oh wow,
His very
that's
next line of
okay. I
dialogue
usually
is,
jump straight in the air.
The surface doesn't really appeal anymore either.
Yep.
Key word here is either. Yes, he seems to hail from the surface and wants to go back, but based on his dialogue, he no longer considers it his home. It's as though the surface world he once knew is gone, as though he's from a different time. It's pretty intriguing.
There was like a war.
So we're left with a being that appeared out of nowhere, presumably from the human surface, but from a different time period, who seemingly has the power to teleport. That's a lot of questions and not a lot of answers. But here's where things get really interesting. Sans has a hidden workshop that takes a fair amount of searching.
That apparently leads like nowhere.
A lot of determination
like it's just kind of
to unlock.
there.
Anyway, obligatory determination references aside, as you start to look for this Easter egg, Sans gives you a key to his room with the words, "It's time you learn the truth." After some searching, you find the workshop, which contains items that
people,
leave even more questions. A photo album featuring Sans and a bunch of smiling people you don't recognize, a badge.
But how do you recognize that it's Sans? Is he a skeleton?
And a broken machine hidden behind a curtain. In the latest update, one more detail was added.
We need an update. Why were they adding updates to Undertale?
With the words, "Don't forget." So what's it all mean? Well, a lot of Undertale theorists have been linking these details to a mysterious figure named W.D. Gaster, a ghostly character who never truly appears in the game. Honestly, covering him is a theory all unto itself, and probably one best saved for another day. Even still, none of the Gaster theories I've seen have been able to explain all the details. In particular, the photo album and the badge. And that's what kept nagging me as I researched Undertale. A badge? That one in particular really stuck out to me. Why would such an oddly specific item be included in this huge Easter egg of a room? Something that supposedly reveals the truth about Sans. Badges just aren't important in Undertale. And then it hit me. What if it wasn't from Undertale?
It was from before
what if
Undertale?
This badge was from a completely different
Which
game,
wasn't Undertale really like a beta for
Deltarune?
Deltarune?
Badge in the history of gaming. The Franklin Badge.
The
now, for
what?
those of you wondering what I'm talking about,
never heard
the
of that.
Franklin Badge is a pivotal item from the Mother series. You know,
What's
the one with
Mo-
Earthbound. Or maybe you don't know that one either.
No, I don't.
You know, the one that Ness from Super Smash Brothers? Yeah, well, Ness is from Earthbound.
Oh, it's from Earthbound.
Earthbound is the second part in this larger Mother trilogy. Alright? Good.
Oh.
Anyway, the Franklin Badge is a really important
The comments
part
are going to
of
be
that
fun in this
series.
video.
It gets its start in the very first game and carries through the whole
I do read all of them.
trilogy, saving your life multiple times in the process. It's so important that Nintendo has made it a staple item in the Smash Brothers series. So I asked myself, what if the badge in Sans' drawer was that exact badge? Well, first off, it makes Undertale connected to my favorite game, thereby making it even
There's
cooler.
no way, but that's of all badges.
Needed more. And let me tell you, as I started looking, more and more pieces started to fit into place. At the end of Earthbound, you're given a photo album covering your adventures.
Why does the music sound
to me, it's one of
kind
the
of familiar?
best, most satisfying endings.
Well, actually, no, this is probably Undertale
back
music.
On your journey in picture form. And what does Sans happen to have in his other drawer? A photo album filled with pictures of Sans with people
Still
you don't
kind of
recognize.
vague.
Of course, you don't know them. They're not characters present in Undertale. And note the word that's used here: people you don't recognize.
Has Toby Fox
not
commented on
underworld
this? He
monsters.
probably has.
So that's two items oddly linked to the Mother series. But then, how do the blueprints and broken machine fit in?
I
Well,
don't
in the
know.
final stretch of Earthbound, Ness and his three friends must travel to the past in order to have their final battle battle against the evil alien Gygus. To do that, Dr. Andonuts, remember him by the way,
what is his name?
It's gonna be important later, with the help of the science geniuses Apple Kid and Mr. Saturn, create what's known as the phase distorter, a machine that allows people to travel through time and space.
What's his face from Pikmin?
Except it comes with a cost. It can't transport organic material. As a result, the young heroes must put their souls into robotic bodies to use the machine.
No, they're gonna haunt animatronics now?
I played this game back in 1997, and I'm not ashamed to admit that when I first saw this scene, I cried. It's devastating. Dr. Andonuts says goodbye to his son. These characters that you've grown to love and care about are suddenly promising to sacrifice their lives. For all they know, there's no possibility of them being able to come back home. It's this incredibly dark departure in the final moments of what was otherwise a fun, quirky, and colorful RPG.
And then it gets serious.
So what's all this have to do with
Real
Undertale?
serious.
A lot, actually. But the first thing you need to know is that Mr. Saturns are known for their, let's say, unique linguistic style. That would explain the illegible handwriting on the blueprints. And the machine, I think a broken phase distorter is behind that curtain. Now that may seem like a stretch, but it actually explains a lot.
So
if
is
Sans wound up in
a skeleton or is he a robot?
Phase distorter, it could provide a reason for why he's a skeleton. He used the machine as organic matter and suffered the consequences. Not killing him, but turning at least part of him into a pile of bones. It would
Are
also
bones
explain
not
why
organic
Sans
matter?
has given up hope for going home. Remember, the distorter is a time machine. By being in Underworld, he's not only in a different place,
that's
but
the first
based on
time you
how
meet
he
Sans.
talks, he's also in a different time, with no hope of traveling back to the time he came from.
I remember when everybody told me that
Crossovers
Mettaton
between
was the
Earthbound
most
and
difficult
Undertale
boss
continue.
in
When you
the
speak
G
to the
run for
Apple Kid
Undertale.
at the end of Earthbound, he's blown away by the astronomical odds of NESS overcoming Gygus, saying that he's going to continue studying the trait called courage in order to
just like
harness its
determination.
power. Seems awfully similar to the same experiments happening in Undertale around the
Oh,
trait
yeah,
of
that
determination.
thing. Yeah.
Especially since so much speculation has circulated that Sans is a key player in those experiments. But I'm sure you also want physical evidence, right? Well, don't worry.
Sans also does like
plenty.
sciencey
During
stuff.
one of the endings of Undertale, we see Undyne and Alphys hanging out on the beach on the surface world. A beach that shares a lot of similarities to the tropical resort location named Summers that you play through in Earthbound. In fact, the geographic layout of the surface bears some striking similarities to the world of Mother. When Undertale's crew of monsters are finally able to reach the surface and look out over the earth, they're met with a beautiful sunset falling across a landscape of a tall mountain, a large city, and a sandy area adjacent to water. Notice the sun's reflection to indicate water and a lack of trees in this middle section here, hence the sand. Well, in Earthbound, you have the big city of Fourside, complete with skyscrapers, which you reach via a desert that just so happens to be adjacent to some water, and to the east, the mountain in Onetz, where a meteorite lands on Earth. I always called it Onetz, but if that's not clear enough for you, Mother 1, Earthbound 0, Earthbound Beginnings, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, apparently the names.
Had a map laying out the same geographic landscape. A tall mountain to the east of a large city, separated by a desert, with all of it up against a coast. I don't know about you, but to me it seems like there's a definite connection between the world of Eagleland, again,
the naming schemes are wild.
The world of Eagleland,
I'm guessing it must be a
the
translation thing.
World of Undertale. But the strongest physical connection, the one that definitely unites these two franchises, comes from none other than Papyrus himself.
Okay, who was Papyrus supposed to be?
Costume known as his battle body. But if you look really closely at the design of the armor, you'll notice some markings on the chest. Is it just a throwaway
badge?
detail?
It doesn't look like a badge.
That right there is an exact match to the ones that appear on the chests of Starman, the most iconic enemy of Earthbound. And look at the way he stands. I always
So why would he dress up as one of them?
I looked at the two characters side by side.
That's actually kind of wild that they're exactly the
same.
same.
Match to the curved arms of the Starman in the Mother series. In short, we have some incredibly strong proof that the Earthbound universe is somehow connected to the Undertale world,
I mean,
which brings us back to our initial question.
You can't really dispute that.
Sans. Well, what if we took it one final step and said that Sans happened to be Ness from Earthbound, sent through the phase distorter during a test of
became
courage,
a skeleton,
carrying the
a living
badge
skeleton.
and his photo album in his trusty backpack. Not only do all the items in the workshop suddenly fit, but so does Sans's behavior. Remember, Sans can seemingly teleport, and Ness just so happens to have the PSI ability to teleport. Now look at the way Sans always stands. Hands in his pockets, directly facing the camera. It's a very similar stance to how Ness is depicted did standing in most marketing for the game. It even explains why Sans bleeds when you finally hit him. He is,
which is weird,
or at least was, a human.
I don't know where that came from.
Sans is only one letter removed from being an anagram for NESS. That's just a fun one. I thought it was worth mentioning. But if there was any doubt, we have to look no further.
I don't think that would be it.
Previous work. Toby Fox,
that's Toby Fox. Okay.
Undertale, had previously worked on a Halloween hack for Earthbound, but this just wasn't a simple reskin.
I didn't know that.
The Halloween hack tells the tale of Dr. Andonuts after the events of Earthbound. Remember, I pointed him out. He's the one who made the phase distorter. In Toby Fox's version of the story, we see that after Gygas's defeat, the souls of the kids never return home. Instead, by going to the past to defeat Gygas, they create a new timeline that they're stuck in. As a result, Jeff never reunites with his father, Dr. Andonuts. And Dr. Andonuts goes crazy with guilt because he's the one responsible for creating the time machine and extracting the souls of his son and his son's friends to send them back to what he assumes was their death. In his mind, he killed 4 kids, and in Toby Fox's game, he's lost his mind trying to deal with that guilt.
That's understandable.
This hack
that would be tough.
Dark. But that said, you see a lot of Undertale in this game. The appearance of Amalgamate,
what was the
first of the awesome song Megalovania, the prototypes for Flowey, and the theme of having the choice to be non-violent in an RPG, sparing your enemies. But then why's all this matter to the theory? Well, remember, in Toby Fox's version of the story, the kids don't come back. They're stuck in the past.
So they do come back in the actual game.
Home, just like Sans. And in the hack, one character is oddly missing, with no explanation as to why. NESS. Presumably in this timeline, his soul is in a different place.
So is NESS not the main character?
Which brings us back to Undertale.
Or is
3 faces with "Don't Forget" written on it. It's NESS trying to remember his 3 friends.
He is the main character, yeah.
Undertale is a continuation of Toby's version of Earthbound, with NESS never being able to.
I really wonder what the Kickstarter campaign bio was for Undertale.
A former Starman, an alien force able to speak English and still equipped with his armor and signature posture, but without any knowledge of earthly things, like the sun. The pieces all just seem to fit. And all we need is an appearance from Pokey/Porky, and we've got ourselves a true sequel. But hey, that's just
very interesting. I didn't realize it was that connected. I thought it was going to be counting pixels or something. To be like, oh, but
go forth with that knowledge and try to tell me who Gaster is.
Don't
worry, I'll be looking too.
Oh god, why is there a minute and a half left?
I have a few more Undertale theories in the works, as well as a deadlock, and then there's Goomba with another culture shock on the game. So if you're into the franchise, make sure you subscribe to get
there might be more of these in the future. Right now I'm doing his Minecraft game theories.
And hey, if you're interested in learning more about the Earthbound Halloween
hopefully this music isn't copywritten.
Precursor to Undertale, we're currently playing through it live. Our next session is Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific time, right here on this channel. So check it out. It's super creepy, but also super fascinating to see the inner workings of Toby Fox's mind. And if you want to catch up with what you've missed,
Chaos Theater.
Here's the link. I think that this clip really sums it up best. Hell yes, Mexicans!
What? I guess it was a different time.
More about my favorite game, Earthbound, click right here.
I remember you talked about it before.
About the true meaning of the game, with an emphasis on
really weird
old.
that
so go back and laugh at how
NESS was added to
Smash
Bros.
It's pretty funny to look back.
Keep in mind, I never played Smash Bros. Ultimate. I played Melee for 1 weekend, but I did the CPU CS by Alfred.
And maybe clicking over to watch that episode.
Also did the cinematic character reveals for Smash Bros.
Honestly,
Ultimate.
One of the best games ever created. But now, if you'll excuse me,
I've heard him
got to
talk
go
about it
track
before.
some human migratory patterns across southeastern Asia. So I'll see you guys next week.
Why though? 8 years ago. Okay, well, that was interesting. I don't know if this is the first one or not. I know there's like a whole playlist for them, but right now I'm doing the well, no, this is 8 years, and then this one I believe is the first one in that playlist, and it's 7 years old. So I think that this is probably the first Undertale game theory video. I think it might be because people were requesting it. So, and he starts off with Sans. Like I said, I just finished the game. I should be starting Deltarune this coming up weekend, this Saturday. So I'll be live streaming that. That'll be awesome. Be uploading the gaming channel. The Duck Goes Gaming, for those that are wondering. I usually upload my Saturday streams on there, and any like little funny moments or short little videos I'll upload there as well. But they're also uploaded on Twitch for like 2 weeks or so from when it happens. But you can always stop by and talk in chat. I'm always reading chat and talking to chat and getting tips from chat. And I read all your comments on this video as well. So definitely leave some down below. I hope you're subscribed to some of those future videos. But until next one, take care and keep the music.
We were playing